I'll let you know how that goes at CNN in the next year.
Like it's every year.
The good thing is, I mean, I'm ready to leave. Give me a buyout, and I'm gone.
They do offer like before
Usually, I mean, it's not to say that they don't get rid of people, you know. I already had 2 knee replacements before the hips got like
the demanding job.
Jesse Jackson was the one that taught me about CPT. I think you'll want on me to tell you.
It's hard to get a lot of people.
I always have to preface it with Jesse Jackson. You have a reporter here?
We have
I was surprised they'd send me with a reporter, and if it was anymore, it's usually a reporter. Like the producer, I mean, they've laid off so many producers. Not laid off. They fire the people or lay off, whatever the terminology is, and then the next week they have ads out for them, you know, for those positions. Yeah, it's not that they were bad field producers. And now, I mean, if they were to lose any photographers due to attrition, then they make them all platform journalists on a salary. You know, no overtime anymore. I'm like, I wouldn't do this job without it. I'd rather be an accountant.
Mickey's coming now. Yeah, I said that. Yeah,
Daniel Irving.
Justice for 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 Tyler Smith.
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 Justice for our black children.
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 Justice for our black children. Justice for our black children.
Justice for our black children. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, let me say how much I appreciate you all coming out for this important media conference. We have organized this press conference for a few purposes. One purpose is because we want the world to know that the National Urban League and all of our affiliates and members and supporters across the country are standing with these three families. And when families suffer the tragedy of the loss of a child, it gets lonely. And when families suffer the loss of children under circumstances that are suspicious and to the naked eye appear unjust, we must stand with these families. Amen. When families face the challenge of a non-responsive criminal justice system, we must stand with these families. With this giant of a lawyer and advocate over the last 15 years, going all the way back to Trayvon Martin, we have stood with Ben Crump and his clients. And we have stood with Ben Crump and his clients because we want the community to know that we are not going to be silent in the face of injustice. Amen. You and I cannot even fathom the pain of these families. I want to thank them for their courage and being here in public under the glare of the media in these circumstances. But we want them to know they are with family. We are standing with family. So Ben Crump is going to bring us all up to date on the latest facts, events, and status of these three cases. And we are going to continue, as we said in the earlier session, to advocate until there is justice for these three families. And we will not be silent. We will not get tired. Amen. We will not get distracted. Amen. Until justice rolls down in these three cases. Amen. So I'm proud to introduce a man who is known as the Attorney General for Black America. And I dare say he stands with the great lawyers that our community has produced. Thurgood Marshall, Constance Baker Motley, Johnny Cochran, and I can name so many others, who over the years have been advocates for our community in many, many ways. So ladies and gentlemen, the next voice you are going to hear is from one of America's great lawyers, someone who is giving voice to the families and the victims of injustice. Ladies and gentlemen, Ben Crump.
Thank you to President and CEO of the National Urban League, Mark Morial. Please give a great round of applause for him not thinking it robbery to invite the families to be here at this great convention. We are so grateful to him and the others in the civil rights community for standing up like they have stood up in the past. And just like we got justice for George Floyd, just like we got justice for Breonna Taylor, Lee Merritt, just like we got justice for Ahmaud Arbery, we gonna get justice for Nolan Wells. We gonna get justice for Daniel Irvin, and we gonna get justice for Taylor Smith. And the large part is because you all are not afraid to speak truth to power. Thank you, Mr. Mario. Again, I'm Attorney Ben Crump, along with Attorney Lisa Park, Attorney Eric Hertz. We are here fighting for the family of other great lawyers, for Nolan Wells. We also have present with us the family of Daniel Irvin, who many of you are just learning about outside of Dallas, Texas, and his tragedy. We have Attorney Sean DeRaya and Attorney Brooke Cluse fighting to help that family get justice, and we want to applaud his mother, Tamika, who has been fighting as only a mother would fight with not many people in the world listening. But we're listening today, Tamika. You are not alone, Tamika. You got Nolan's mother and father, Christine, and Elmore Wansley, who are standing with you as well. Tamika, your daughter is here. You are not alone. God, please let her know she is not alone. Justice for Daniel Irvin. Attorney Harry Daniels, we also have the family of Tyler Smith, Lexington, Kentucky. You're going to hear from all these families. You're going to hear from Tyler's mother and especially his grandmother. You know, until the lawyers get there, until the community advocates get there, a lot of times these families are just by themselves, President Mariel. And thank God for this mother and this praying grandmother who refused to let them sweep the death of her grandbaby under the rug. And so I will say briefly about each of these tragedies. Obviously, many of you know about Nolan Wells. And you'll hear from his mother and father after brief remarks by Attorney Hertz and Attorney Park. But we all know July 4th, Nolan Wells goes to France, celebrating the 4th of July. All the friends come back. Nolan Wells tragically washes up on the shore 2 days later, dead. And so we know all the current events that have been happening. And we are announcing that we have the audio from the officials, and we have retained and are consulting with some of the foremost audio engineering experts to review those audio tapes from the Sea-Tone call in its entirety. We also, and Attorney Hertz may go into greater detail on these matters, have consulted President Mariel with oceanic engineering experts to talk about how these facts are lining up. The fact that they say Nolan's body was found in the same location where they say they left him at. And so we want to know, how is that possible with the oceanic tides? We want the experts. I mean, you got low tides and high tides. It's not adding up, so we are going to dot every I and cross every T until we find out what happened to Nolan Wells. Attorney Hurst will also go into a little more detail at Attorney Park about how we're trying to coordinate with Dr. Roger Mitchell, who conducted the independent autopsy of Nolan Wells, to be able to inspect his throat that was missing with his body when he was flown to do the autopsy with Dr. Mitchell. Also, we are hopeful that they will discuss with Dr. Mitchell the photographs and observations made at the time when Nolan was first discovered, because Dr. Mitchell did not get an opportunity until July 10th to be able to examine his body. And at that time, we know the airways and the lungs had already been dissected and so forth, so we can't tell if there was the presence of water or not. That would suggest whether he drowned or not. And remember what Dr. Roger Mitchell said in his autopsy. President Mariel, he talked about the fact that to say he drowned does not draw the conclusions of what happened to Nolan Wells. He said it is equally important to know at what condition was Nolan Wells' body when he went into the water. Was he conscious or was he unconscious? Was he forced into the water or did he go unforced into the water? He said all of these things are very important. And so we are dotting I's and crossing T's. We are focused on getting to the truth, and we stand for the truth. Me and everybody on my legal team stand for the truth, no matter who it implicates or who it exonerates. We stand for justice, no matter who it convicts or who it acquits. And we stand for transparency, so everybody can see. And that's all we want. We want answers. We're not casting aspersions on anybody. We are saying that we want to make sure everybody who is remotely involved has their questions answered to make sure we have a full and fair and impartial and transparent investigation. And is that too much to ask for these broken-hearted parents? Is that too much to ask? That's all. If it was your child, wouldn't you want the same thing? And I get it. They're attacking me. They're attacking Reverend Al. They're attacking the parents of Nolan Wells. We don't care about those distractions. We ain't no waste time. We are completely focused, completely laser focused on getting to the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help us, God. And so the threats, the attacks mean nothing to us. We will not be deterred. Look into our eyes. We're going to get to the truth. I am so grateful to Mr. Byron Allen for donating $100,000 to the GoFundMe so we can help get the best experts in the world. I am thankful to Reverend Al Sharpton. I am thankful to Mr. Tyler Perry. I'm thankful to Mr. Tara Owens. I am very thankful to everybody who did not think it robbery to say, what can we do to help people get to the truth and call in to the tip line so we can help not only Nolan Wells' family, but we can help Daniel Irvin's family, and we can help Tyler Smith's family as well. Everybody on social media, please continue to ask questions. Please continue to share photographs, share videos. It all helps us solve this potential of what happened to Nolan Wells. I mean, isn't it so important? Somebody saw something. Somebody knows something. As Christine and Elmore have said, if you're really Nolan's friend, you know in your heart of hearts that if the roles were reversed, that Nolan would say something. He would call and tell what he saw. And so that's all they're asking. do for Nolan what he would have done for you. Do for Nolan what he would have done for you. Do for Nolan what he would have done for you. Congresswoman Beatty, we thank you in the Congressional Black Caucus. Please stand and join us, Congresswoman, because you all asking the questions from the Department of Justice and the FBI. It's important that we have the full weight and force of everybody who has any kind of authority to be able to help us get answers on Nolan Wells and the other 18-year-old black boy. Now, before I bring up the lawyers, I just want to say a word about Daniel Irvin and about his case, and you'll hear from Attorney Sean DeRaya, and after you hear from his mother, Tamika. So similar in what they're saying about Nolan Wells, and that is her 18-year-old son, President Maria, Congresswoman Beatty, two young white teenagers come, pick them up from their house, leave, they go on, I guess it's an alleged fishing trip. Her son, I guess they are saying, accidentally drowns. But his two friends then throw away his clothes, right, Sean? Throw away his cell phone, go and delete all the text messages between Daniel Irvin and them, and then say nothing. If it's an accidental drowning, why wouldn't you come to his mother and tell her he drowned by accident? Why wouldn't you go to the authorities? Why wouldn't you go to somebody and say there was a terrible tragedy, he accidentally drowned? But no, they gonna throw away all of the evidence that is germane to finding out what happened. And it's only after his mother raised all kind of hell, and for 4 days they are searching for what happened. Minister Dominique Alexander and the activists in Dallas, they said, no, something happened to Daniel Irvin. We got to get to the bottom of this. Then and only then, Mark Mariel, does the young people come forward to the authorities with their parents, and they say, well, we were there, and they confessed that they threw away his cell phone and his clothes, and they deleted the messages. And so law enforcement charged and arrested him after 3 months. 3 months passed, not until Nolan Wells started making the news that they finally come and they arrest them, but not for the death of Daniel Irvin. They arrest him with tampering with evidence, and that's it. And what his mother is saying, what Attorney DeRaya is saying, what Attorney Brooke Cruz is saying is simply this. If they would lie about his cell phone and throw it away, if they would lie about his clothes and throw it away, if they would lie about deleting text messages between Daniel and them, how can you believe it when they say it was an accidental drowning? They need to take this case to a grand jury. And you're going to hear from his mother talk about other things that don't add up, about the conduct of the boys immediately after the drowning, the alleged drowning. It's so critically important that we remember Daniel Irvin as well. And then Attorney Park, Attorney Cruz, we talk about Tyler Smith, and I'll just try to paint the picture real quickly for you, and then you'll hear from these parents, these broken-hearted parents. 4th of July. You can't make this stuff up, Congresswoman Beatty. Attorney Daniels, 4th of July, same 4th of July 2026 when Nolan goes missing. Tyler Smith in Lexington, Kentucky is the only black person in the home where they're having a 4th of July small house party. Somehow, being shot in his head, dead. 911 is called. They come, the police get there. They tell them that he shot himself, that they were playing Russian roulette. That's what they say. They say, this the gun. The police retrieve the gun, and then they take their word as the gospel that he shot himself. They don't do gunshot residue on the hands of Tyler or nobody else. I mean, basic investigation 101. If you say he shot himself, wouldn't you bag his hands and wouldn't you test it for gunshot residue? But they don't do that. And you're going to hear from his grandmother and his mother as to the explanation, the implausible explanation that they offered them. And the fact that the gun, President Mariel, that they claimed he used to shoot himself with, the police, after they do analysis, it does not match the casings that they found on the floor to where he shot himself at. So still, they are taking their word for it. And it's 7 days later, right, Miss Leesley? 7 days later, after they did say who I was in the house, they have to identify everybody who was in the home. And then they have to track down, well, if this is not the gun that caused the death of Tyler Smith, well, where's the gun at? So they have to go investigate, and they go surround one of the young men's houses, and they surround the house. He doesn't come and volunteer after knowing that they're trying to find out and get evidence about what happened to Tyler Smith and come forward voluntarily. They have to go to his house and surround it, and then he comes out and finally he volunteers that this is the gun. Think about that, Captain Tree. Just think about that for a second. You would think, after all of that, he is surely going to be arrested and charged with killing or being in some way responsible for the death of this 18-year-old young black man. But no, he is only charged with tampering with evidence, correct, Ms. Neeson? Nothing more. And nobody in all three of the questionable deaths of these 18-year-old young black kids, nobody has been held accountable in any way. And so that's why we're here saying that we are not deterred. We're not going to let you sweep it under the rug. We're going to get to the answers of what happened to Nolan Wells, what happened to Daniel Irvin, and what happened to Tyler Smith. 3 18-year-old black boys in a 3-month period around 4th of July, 2026, who all were unalive in very similar ways as Nolan Wells. And I'm very thankful to his parents for using the attention that they were given and blessed with to also give attention to these other 18-year-old black boys. Thank you, Christine. Thank you so much, Elmore. At this time, before we get to your questions, you're going to hear briefly from Attorney Eric Hertz, and then Attorney Lisa Point with some updates, and then you'll hear from Nolan Wells' parents. Attorney Eric Hertz, it's great to see you.
Thank you for showing up. I have some brief updates on the Nolan Wells case. We have been working with the district attorney. We've gotten a letter back yesterday, and she's willing to listen to some of the evidence we have, although we're having to still discuss her giving us back evidence, and that's something that we will see. The phones, not just our clients' phones, but the other phones that are involved in this situation, we are trying to coordinate and have come to a tentative agreement with the district attorney to go ahead and have them investigated together jointly with our experts as well as their experts, and I believe, if I'm not speaking out of turn, the FBI is going to also be present there, and that's going to show a lot of stuff that we haven't seen. I'm going to keep this short, but as I always say, I'd like to say one more time, society is judged by how the most powerful treat the most vulnerable, and justice will prevail. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Attorney Eric Hertz. And now you will hear briefly from Attorney Lisa Park, who heads up our Atlanta, Georgia office and has been leading on this effort.
So today I just want to recognize all of these families for coming here today, traveling here to Nashville, even family that's here in the audience. If you think for just a moment, for these tragedies, they really just happened. They really just happened. If you've never had a loved one that you've lost, it's hard. And you feel like going into a quiet place by yourself, mourning, grieving, doing all of our own religious rituals, right? And so it's quite hard that these families have had to come into the spotlight to stand up for their children. This is not where they want to be. And for those people who somehow think that they want to be in the spotlight, I guarantee you, this is not where they want to be. For all of these families, for every single family member that is suffering through these losses. So I want to commend all of these families. I also want to commend them for coming together as a group, right? Because all of us, we are stronger together. We are stronger together. And there are so many unanswered questions for all three of these cases. But there's hope. And I see that hope because we do get calls. We have been getting over 100 calls a day. And I want to thank everybody who's called in. Because for every time there's a hater that's saying that these people just want the spotlight, when somebody calls in with some encouragement, when somebody calls in with some information, it makes up for that. Because we know that we're stronger together. These questions, these cases can be solved, and we can do it together. So I want to thank everybody for calling, right? But I also, last thing, I want to encourage those who have not called yet. And you know that you have some information. One, I know that it's scary. I know that you may be scared. But if there's a time in your life to do the right thing, this is it. And you just have to be brave. And go ahead and please call us. These people, we need you. We need you. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Clark. And as Nolan's mother and father get ready to come, I cannot express to you how encouraged we are that we're going to get to the truth. I mean, so many things are coming to light, and we're going to get to the truth. We are not trying to cast aspersions on anybody. We want the truth. We want the truth. That's what we want. And like we said, if that implicates you or exonerates you, then you got to talk to your Lord. You got to talk to your God. But we want the truth and nothing but the truth. And if it was your child, you would want the same thing. And so that's why everybody who got children, you could understand the pain, that agony that this mother and father have been dealing with since 4th of July. How people came, time within hours of finding him saying, well, no foul play, just gone. How do you tell somebody just go on when my son is dead? and nobody's giving us any answers. All those people out on that island, and you mean nobody knows nothing? Nobody saw anything? No, we refuse to accept that nobody knows nothing. We're going to get to the truth. We're going to get to the truth. We're going to get to the truth. And it's starting to come to light. Because truth is light. And we're going to get to the truth. Y'all give it up for the mother and father of Nolan Wells, Elmore and Christine.
Thank you all for being here today. It has been 27 days since we have been able to talk to our son, to hug him, to tell him we love him. This has been the most difficult time we have ever had. I want to tell you who Nolan was. Nolan was a God-fearing, God-loving child. He loved everyone. He was the person who would just make you feel comfortable just being in his space. He was never one to exclude. He always wanted everyone to be happy, to feel good, to have purpose. He would lift anyone up. It didn't even matter if he didn't know you. If you took that moment to just tell him a little bit about yourself, what you wanted to do with your life, right then and there, Nolan would be your biggest cheerleader. Today we are begging, because I'm not too proud to beg. We are begging, if anyone knows anything, his friends, strangers, please call the hotline, because we will not be able to rest until we get answers. But please understand that all of these distractions, these other questions that people, the attacks that people have sent our way, just know we will not be distracted. We are ready to do whatever we need to do as his parents to continue advocating for him, because Nolan is not here. He is not here to speak for himself. He is not here to tell us what happened. So again, we will not rest until we get answers. And if you know something, you need to let us know. Please do not be afraid. Okay? Thank you all so much again. We truly appreciate your love and support.
I'm faced with a new challenge every morning, thinking of trying to process this. It's the biggest challenge I've ever had. I pretty much was raised up like a lot of you. I didn't have a lot, but I always said I wanted to give my children more than what I had. And I think me and my wife did that. We raised Nolan to love everyone, be kind to everyone, because it was just the right thing to do. As I got a lot of stuff, but what I really want to say is, like my wife said, if you know something and you are really, if Nolan was really your best friend, or for the people who said that he was their friend, please come forward and tell us what you know. All we want to know is the truth. We're not blaming anyone. We just want to know the truth. Any parent will get it. Also, the disrespect that's been coming toward my wife and my family. For any parent, no matter what race you are, they need time to grieve. A parent can't grieve when you have people attacking them, attacking their jobs, attacking their character, just attacking them, period. Like, where's the empathy? We, as Americans, this is a diverse country. Not no one race made this country. We all made this race, made this country. So we all need to come together. And like I said, if you know something, please come forward and just call our attorneys, give them information, and they'll take it from there. Just help us out. And not just us, but all these families need answers. Anyone with information on any one of these cases, please come forward. Because being a child is something that's got to do with the rest of life. Thank you.
Thank you. And President Mario, I would just say the attacks, Christine has been a nurse for years, and she hasn't ever gotten negative reviews. But since she has been advocating to find out what happened to her 18-year-old son after he was washed up dead on Horn Island, sick people have been going on her company's website giving her negative reviews. Can you all imagine anything worse than that? That is a shame before God. They are just sick, evil people who would attack this mother and this father for simply saying, we want to know what happened to our child. Don't worry, Christine. We standing with you. We are standing with you. Yeah, next we're going to have the mother of Daniel Irvin come and talk about her child and tell you what happened in her words, and then you hear brief remarks from attorney Sean DeRee. Sean, you want to briefly from attorney DeRee will briefly speak before her, and then we'll have to.
Thank you, Mr. Crum. Tampering charges in this case is absolutely unacceptable. Tampering in itself means that someone intentionally hid, destroyed, or altered evidence. If the district attorney's office has that evidence, take that evidence, put it together, and present it to a new grand jury. If the district attorney's office doesn't want to do it, we are calling on an independent investigation by the Department of Justice, because we are here for the truth. And one last point I want to add to what Mr. Crum said. Daniel Irving, when these boys said that he drowned, he was a high school swimmer. He was on the swim team. He was a healthy, young 18-year-old male. So that story that he drowned accidentally, it doesn't add up. It does not add up, and we want the truth.
Police and law enforcement are supposed to be protecting and serving. But my question today is, who are they protecting and which communities are they serving? What we want to know is why crimes against Black and brown people receive less justice and less coverage. And I'm going to give you some data to back it up, and I'm going to read it because I don't want to make any mistakes here. Over a 10-year period, statistics show that 53% of Black killings go uncharged, no charges. And so that means over half of those related killings are never prosecuted. And when you think about arrest rates, 63% of white victims receive justice versus are compared to 47% of Black victims. So when people think we have two systems of justice in this country, the data kind of backs that up. And now we'll hear from Tamika.
My name is Tamika Irving. I am the mother of Daniel Irving. This is my daughter, Azaria Irving. This is Daniel's eldest. So what a lot of you guys don't know, to give you like some context, outside and hang with some friends, okay? And I was under the understanding that he would be in the neighborhood. So I didn't know where my son was. I thought that he was just visiting friends in the neighborhood. Around 8 o'clock or so, I started to text Mike, call Mike, and Mike was an honorable child. He wanted to serve and protect, be in the military. He loved people. He always had a joke to tell. He was very comical. So I called the police the following day at 12:30 in the morning, and I said, hey, my son ID is here, and his money is here, his social security is here, and I don't know where he's at, and this is not like him, so I'm reporting him missing under suspicious circumstances. The officers were very dismissive. The officers were very dismissive. So I didn't get any information about where my son was. I canvassed the neighborhood. I knocked on doors. I asked neighbors for video footage. I had to do the footwork, the research, the investigating. I had to do it. And so to the mothers, to anyone out there who have a loved one, do not wait for the police to do their job. Okay, so fast forward, I reported my son missing. My son was to graduate in May. He was unable to graduate because the two boys murdered my son. They said my son jumped off a bridge, and I know that's not the truth. He was found in water. And not only that, my son was on the swim team. He was very comfortable with swimming in the pool, swimming in lakes. The autopsy report shows my son had an unobstructed airway. So my son did not drown. I want to know why the people that are in place to serve and protect failed to do their job from the very start. When I reported my son missing, it took them 35 hours, over 35 hours to input his information, only in the state system, showing that he was missing. They failed to enter his information in the NCIC, the National Criminal Database. Being my son was under 21, law enforcement had a responsibility to enter his information within 2 hours, and they failed to do it. My son will fight for me, and I'm here to fight for him. I want justice. We are in the pursuit of justice.
Justice for Daniel Irving. Justice for Daniel Irving. Justice for Daniel Irving. And the final family you will hear from is going to be the family of Tyler Smith, who many of you haven't heard of at all. And I want to have his family who drove from Lexington, Kentucky to the National Urban League Convention to say that Tyler Smith life matters too. Y'all, please give him a round of applause. Tyler Smith, life matters. Tyler Smith, life matters. Tyler Smith, life matters.
I want to thank everyone for showing up today, supporting all these families. I was asked many times, who is Tyler? What does Tyler mean to you? And I had to take a deep dive into that because to give a few words wouldn't be justice. So I went into my prayer closet, as most families do. Because see, Tyler calls me name. And when people ask me to tell them, I find a struggle in finding words big enough to describe who he is. Tyler is charismatic. He's warmth. Tyler is love. Tyler is compassion and tolerance. Tyler is focus and determination. Tyler is an entrepreneur with dreams, goals, and a vision for his future. Tyler is a calming presence, a peacemaker, and a source of comfort to those around him. Tyler is that warm piece of cake straight out of the oven, that soft buttermilk biscuit that the butter glides across the top. Tyler is the depth of a baby's laughter and the warmth of a grandmother's hug. Tyler is what many people spend a lifetime searching for, but never fully find a genuine soul with a kind heart and a beautiful spirit. For me, Tyler is much more than all of those things. He's my motivation, my determination, the wind beneath my wings. Even in his absence, he continues to give me strength. He has become a part of the reason I stand, the part of the reason that I keep moving forward. When I received that call at 6 a.m. that morning that my grandson had been involved in a shooting, I thought, okay, hand, foot, and I arrived upon the scene of the hospital and found out that this was a gunshot wound to the head. Again, I'm a praying mother. I have a son who a year ago had a near fatal car accident. I know what God can do. You can't tell me what God can do. I've seen it. I watched it every day. I watched him learn how to walk and talk. And I comforted his grandfather and said, don't worry about this. We've already been through this fire. It'll be okay. When the physician came out and pronounced my grandson, and she stated, self-inflicted, accidental, I told her, you're a liar, and there is no truth in it. I explained to her immediately. I said, how do you have this evidence for you to know this? She said, because they said. I said, they said? She said, yes. As days progressed, my family and I began to move forward. We got none effort, energy at all from the Lexington Fayette County Police Department. We were told that we needed to accept accidental, self-inflicted. They offered no traces of gun residue, even though I called the coroner's office and the police department. And I begged and pleaded, please, back his hands. No child, and I say child because it's relative, no one was searched on the scene. They took an investigation as a total from all 5 of these young people and said, they said this is what happened. I asked for gun residue on anyone. The answer that I was given, well, there's no need to bag his hands. Everyone in this room would have gun residue on them. That was their excuse to me. When they moved my grandson in an expedient manner, not to our local coroner's office, but to the state capitol, which I was told wouldn't happen until that following Monday. Miraculously, in 2 hours, he was on his way to the medical examiner in the capitol. On Monday morning at 10 a.m., they came back and told me again, accidental, self-inflicted. For 17 days, my sons and I worked tirelessly, investigating everything on our own. The police department gave us nothing, absolutely nothing. They treated me as if I were a pirate, asking all the wrong questions. Why do you need to know? We've handed you that carrot already. Take a bite. Settle down. It's accidental, self-inflicted. As I talked to the police chief, I explained to him. He said, well, what do you want from this? What are you looking for? I said, what would you be looking for?
Exactly.
I want transparency. I want you to simply do the job that you were paid to do. My family never asked you to go above and beyond. We just asked you to earn the paycheck that you either receive this week or the next. We ask you to simply, the same way you go into our black and brown neighborhoods and you can investigate and you can interrogate and you can charge, give us the same respect. Tyler is loved. He's loved. But most importantly, Tyler calls her mama. Tyler calls me Pepper. That's my baby. He's my baby. It will be my dying breath to say his name. No stone will go unturned. I'm not afraid to go to hell and sit with the devil about my work. I want to know. I want transparency. I want someone to speak on it. Continue to say our names. Continue to say our children's names. We deserve answers. We deserve justice. We deserve transparency. That's all we're asking for. And I thank you all so much for the time and the space that you have given every one of us.
Justice for Tyler Smith. Justice for Tyler Smith. Justice for Tyler Smith. And we're going to get to the truth on Tyler. I promise you, we're going to get to the truth of what happened to Tyler Smith. At this time, President Mario, we're going to ask that the Congresswoman just say a brief word and take questions. Ms. Evans, CBC, thank you all very much.
Let me simply say the two most powerful words we can say. To you as families, to the Urban League family, to you, President and CEO, and my good friend, to you, Attorney Ben Crump. Thank you. But let me just say, the Congressional Black Caucus, we aren't just coming today. We communicated with Attorney Crump, with President Martin Muriel, and we stand with you. And I'll end with your words, Mark. We're going to let justice roll down like a stream and righteousness like mighty waters. We are the Congressional Black Caucus. We stand for you, for justice, transparency, and righteousness. Thank you and God bless you.
This has been moving and powerful. We want to take questions from members of the media. Members of the media, if anyone in the working media has a question for Attorney Crump, and please identify yourself, speak real loudly. Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. And that's an excellent question because thank God for us being able to get the national attention on Nolan Wells' case. And that doesn't happen just by coincidence. It's a lot of the civil rights community, a lot of the activists, Reverend Al, people like Byron Allen, Tyler Perry, everybody on social media coming to say, no, this ain't adding up. We got to find out what happened to Nolan Wells. And then we get contacted by our good friend, Attorney Sean DeRea, saying that, hey, we got a similar case, Attorney Crump, where you co-counsel with us, and Attorney Brooklyn start working with them. And then we get a call to the call center, President Mariel, and I simply can't believe what happened to Tyler Smith. It shocks my conscience. And so Kareem Ali and Cliff Jones, my investigators, they start to investigate. And we're saying, this can't be true. They really didn't do a gunshot residue test on the hands. I mean, that's basic. And so it hits me that all of them are 18-year-old black kids that died in very questionable circumstances when Nolan was the only black kid on the boat. Daniel was the only black kid alleged on the fishing trip. And Tyler was the only black kid at the 4th of July celebration party, house party. And all of them are 18 years old. Look at the dates. I mean, that's eerie when you look at the dates. February 8th, Tyler Smith is born. July 4th, 2026, he is dead. Can I see the other? Oh, this is Daniel Irvin. I mean, he's born November 21st, 2007. He is dead on April 17th, 2026. Where's the, Nolan Wells, born August 19th, 2007. He is dead in July of 2026. The day is yet to be determined. All of these young black kids were born in 2007, and all three of these black kids died 2026, 18 years of age, on the cusp of manhood. And I said, no, we got to show that this is not a coincidence that all these young 18-year-old black men are ending up dead and nobody's being held accountable. No, we got to bring the law. We got to bring the law. We must bring the law for these 18-year-old black men.
Let me also add this. Our members who were planning to come to Nashville asked me late last week if we would be commenting on, dealing with, shedding any light on the Nolan Wells case. I invited Ben Crump to come to Nashville to brief us on the Wells case. In the course of that conversation, he shared with me, by the way, there are two other similar cases. I said, two other similar cases? I said, Ben, can you bring all of the families to Nashville? Because the thousands of urban leaders who are here are interested in, have a solidarity with, want to hear directly, not through filters, about the circumstances of these cases. And that is what the National Urban League Conference is all about. It is about dealing with the pressing, cutting-edge issues that face the nation and face Black America. So we are here because this is what we do.
Yes.
Whether it's Trayvon Martin back in the early teens, Michael Brown, George Floyd, Sandra Bland, Breonna Taylor, Tamir Rice, we deal with these issues because our constituents
Well, there you have it, the press conference. Um, so I want to say rest in peace to the Daniel Irvin, Tyler Smith, um, Nolan Wells. Man, I really hate this for these families. So I was looking at the Tyler Smith situation. I just see if it's a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Why? Why would they arrest somebody for tampering with evidence? Why? So I want to go on and I want to look at some videos that I watched yesterday. The Nancy Grace where she interviewed that Officer Tatum. I want to look at that and also a few more other things. I know D.L. Hewley came out and said some stuff too. I want to check that out while I'm on this live. You know, I said I wasn't going to talk about this Nolan Wells situation, but it's like it's getting it's getting out of hand. You know, everybody's having their thoughts and opinions. I was gonna keep mine to myself, but I'm gonna go ahead and share my thoughts on it. I'm gonna toss my hat in the ring. Oh yeah. Um, gotta kind of excuse me a little bit. I've been a little under the weather, so uh, I want to get into these videos, but let's finish listening to what they got to say first.
We will not be distracted. And I'm not, Ben Crump is like any lawyer. He should get paid for his work. That's right. Just like every Wall Street lawyer, every Trump lawyer, every insurance defense lawyer. That's right. And I really want everyone to understand, let's not be distracted. Let's not give oxygen. Let's not give air to haters and distractors and dissuaders. So thank you for your question. I'm going to say this. I will not ever surrender the fact that I am American. However, we celebrate Juneteenth. I don't necessarily celebrate July 4th, but I note it as an important day. And I'm not going to fall into the trap that some want to. I fly the American flag in front of my house. But on the other side of my porch, I fly the Juneteenth flag. And we are not going to let anyone diminish our birthright, our constitutional right, our birthright to be treated fairly and justly in this country. It is very difficult and challenging in these times, but we are not going to be tricked. We're not going to be dissuaded. We're not going to be distracted. I am an American. I am an African American. I am a Black American. And I'm proud to be one. But I think we need to clearly understand that African Americans, Black people, and civil rights leaders have always been the conscience of this country. Amen. Have always been loyal to the nation, even in the most challenging times. And I'm not going to suggest it's easy for us, but what we're not going to allow is for people to marginalize us, treat us like second-class citizens, or suggest that somehow let me tell you what a true patriot is. A true patriot stands up for justice. A true patriot stands up for the families and the victims of violence. A true patriot holds the justice system accountable, doesn't make excuses for an unjust justice system. So we gotta understand that we're not gonna get tricked and cornered into people suggesting because we stand up for justice, we're something other than a true and full patriot in this country. That's the way I feel. I said last night, I was born in a segregated hospital, born in a segregated city, watched my parents and their friends fight and litigate and march to open doors of opportunity. The reason why these times are so tough and why they're so difficult is because if we are not careful and if we are not vigilant and diligent, our children and grandchildren will be relitigating the battles of our parents. This movement in this country to turn back the hands of time is palpable. So when we stand up for these families, and we'll stand up for other families, and we'll stand up for other people, we are doing it because we are true patriots. We're doing it because we believe in justice. We do it because we're going to hold the justice system accountable. This Urban League movement has a mission. And its mission is something we will not surrender. Like the Congressional Black Caucus says, we have no permanent friends, we have no permanent enemies, we only have permanent interests. So thank you for your question.
And let me say this before I move on to the final two questions. You know, we as African Americans, as Deputy People said, we have this duality. I mean, on one hand, we know that when the founders wrote the Constitution, they never expected that the rights would apply to us. But like my personal hero, Thurgood Marshall said, I know they didn't intend it to apply to us, but we're going to make it apply to us anyway because we are American citizens. And if anybody built this country, it was our ancestors with the rolling in the cotton fields. I mean, doing the things that made this very young country become such a prosperous country at such an early age in its infancy. I mean, when you think about what slavery did to elevate America, that were our ancestors. So, yes, I'm going to celebrate the 4th of July essence every year because my ancestors built this joint. And then I'm really going to celebrate on the Juneteenth because I know that is what we do to acknowledge our ancestors. Just like Jewish Americans celebrate the 4th of July in their important dates, just like Italian Americans celebrate the 4th of July in their important dates, just like Spanish Americans celebrate the 4th of July in important dates to them. Black people, we celebrate the 4th of July because we built America. CNN, and I want the TV man that's going to be here. Go ahead. I'll Sean speak briefly to Daniel Irvin, but that's why I was brought in to bring attention to Daniel Irvin case. Sean indicated that there must be a fight and not been progress, but we don't get answers. Sean.
We have not had any progress with the Dallas County District Attorney's Office. We are planning, Mr. Crump and I, to meet with the District Attorney if he will meet us, and we want to talk about this case, we're going to talk about this evidence, and we want to move this forward, and we want murder charges. Is that right, Mr. Crump?
You know, one of the things that Sean and Tamika said, Ryan, she said that there was a witness after the drowning that said Tamika, the young man was limping when he came back. And that was part of the investigation. And she's saying, well, why didn't y'all explore that? Like, why are you limping? You're saying my son jumped off the bridge. Well, that's going to cause you to limp.
Yes, that is true, and there was a witness that provided video footage via flash drive to the detectives, and they failed to enter that information in the probable cause affidavit. The witness also said that the detectives just grossly overlooked that, and they failed to enter that information. Again, I know Daniel did not drown, and tampering with evidence is offensive for the murder they committed.
I would just respond to this here on Ryan's case. And his mother believes her child was murdered. We are still trying to get all the information, Attorney DeRay and I, but she does not believe her son unforced went into a lake, a high school swimmer, and drowned. She just isn't accepting that, and she has a right as a parent to question that. As it relates to Tyler Smith, we're going to have more information coming forward because of the hard work of his mother and grandmother, and we think the shoe is about to drop on that. And we're going to meet with the district attorney. We haven't yet, but we're going to meet with them because people are starting to come forward. And I again thank the parents of Nolan Wells because people are coming forward in their case. That's inspiring people to come forward in Tyler Smith's case as well. So thank you all for coming forward. She had the last one. Okay.
My message would be that we have to have tough conversations. This is something our community already knows. We have to make sure that, and I know my husband and I, we have had countless conversations with all of our children about the importance of understanding when you are moving in different spaces with people that do not look like you. And it's unfortunate that we have to have these conversations, but they are needed in order to hopefully keep our children safe. So I would say to all the mothers out there, especially my Black mothers, we just have to keep pushing forward. We have to do the things to protect our children.
This is so tragic, but this is why Ben Crump is so important. This is why when families face these types of challenges, they need good counsel.
That's right.
They should not wallow and try to handle it themselves. They shouldn't just go to community leaders and politicians, although that's important. They need good counsel. They need good civil rights counsel. They need people like Ben Crump or Lee Merritt, and there are many, many others around the nation who do this kind of important work. And I just encourage families that face cases of injustice, cases where they want answers, to work to get good counsel. We at the Urban League, our affiliates,
We get calls all the time. And what we try to do is guide them in the right direction. We try to help them identify counsel or people, and that is really, really important in the case. I want to confront the question you asked about race. Something in this country, whenever a black person is the victim of an act of injustice, why is it when we seek justice, we get this smear campaign?
That's right.
Of playing a race card. I have seen this movie for many, many, many years. And we are going to call it out because we are not going to be dissuaded, distracted, or intimidated for standing up for members of our community. Let the charges come. I say it's like they're blowing bubbles. It's just a lot of rhetoric, it's nasty, and it's hateful. But you know what I found? That every loud person attacking us, there's 15 quiet people, yes, who represent silent supporters of justice. They may not speak out, they may not go on social media, but they're in solidarity. We have to remember that. The loudest voices in the room are not the most important voices in the room. Let me thank you all for coming. We've got some other activities. I will power motion. Let's thank them from. Let's one more time thank these families for their courage, their courage, their courage. I want to thank the media for coming out as well. This press conference is adjourned.
Thank you, Mark Moriel and the National Urban League.
Update in the Nolan Wells case, folks. The autopsy report in the Nolan Wells case is going to remain under wraps until a grand jury review. That's the decision of the district attorney, Angel Miles McElrath. She released this video laying that out. Let's get this to play. 1 second.
I want to talk directly to the people of Jackson County. Our community is grieving the tremendous loss of Nolan.
All right, so I'm back. I'm getting ready to look at some of this stuff, but I was just thinking about the situation with Nolan Wells' parents. They're getting death threats and people leaving bad reviews on his mom's job. Why would you do that? Why are you doing that? Just because they're trying to find out what's going on, what happened to their son, and that's going to cause you to send death threats and go on this lady's job site and leave bad reviews. What kind of person are you? Whoever's doing that, man, they're the most evilest, the most wicked person I could, just ever think of. It's terrible. But like I said, I want to go. I might have to find it. I want to go and see this interview that Nancy Grace did with this Tatum dude. Oh, well, first of all, I do want to see let me see. So Poetic Flacco, shout out to Poetic Flacco. He did he did a little video, a reaction on what D.L. Hughley said about this guy, Officer Channing Tatum. And I want to go over that first. And then we're going to get into that Nancy Grace interview with him and with her and that Channing Tatum. I mean, this is just like absolutely ridiculous. I said I wasn't gonna put my 2 cents in, but I think I'm just gonna go ahead and tell my opinions. But I do want to read this. Let me see if I can find Flacco's. Shout out to Poetic Flacco. I mean, that was a good one. I really enjoyed that little reaction that he did, and I want to react to his react. Want to react to his video. Let me see if I can find the words of that. I'm on that right on. Let me see. Y'all give me a second. I gotta find it. I know daggone well. Let's see if I can find it. How's everybody doing today? Hope y'all having a lovely day besides this situation that's going on, man. And I didn't even know nothing about the other two, Tyler Smith and what was the other guy's name? It was what was his name? It was Tyler Smith and Daniel Irving. I wonder. I mean, I didn't get to hear too much about the Daniel Irving, but Tyler Smith, I did, and I went and I went online and looked, and they said that it was self inflicted, but they arrested someone for tampering with evidence. So why would they arrest somebody with tampering with evidence if it was self inflicted? I don't understand that. I really don't. I'm sorry, guys. I just didn't have it up. I'm trying to find it. As D.L. Hughley went on, I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all probably already seen this. D.L. Hughley, he kind of called a boy out, like called him out. And oh yeah, it was good. It was good. Let's see. Yeah, I got to find this. It was on Poetic Flacco's because unless he took it down, and I don't know why he would do that. That Officer Tatum, man, I just don't understand. Well, now I mean, if you see it, if nobody's seen this, what D.L. Hughley said, then you would understand his kind of the way they was, his little agenda, and it's terrible. So I'm trying to find. I really want to play that. I'm trying to find it. Let's see. I've been watching a little bit of that. The Okay, here, this is it right here. I was watching a little bit of that the Mo3 stuff because I was behind on it. I'll check this out.
See, Tatum has been out here covering his Nolan Wall situation, pretending like, he's not a tap dancer, pretending like he just wants the truth. When in fact, his real intentions for bringing up how many black kids were on the island and things of that sort was to redirect the attention to black folks and take it away from the white folks that was suspects. And he just exposed his hand, right? And all it took was a little rage bait from D.L. Hughley. Okay, so D.L. Hughley responded to Officer Tatum, who has had his name in his mouth the last 2 weeks. Right, D.L. Hughley finally gave him the smoke he was waiting for.
This is Brandon Tatum.
Y'all just see what unfunny ex-comedian D.L. Hughley just said about me. Posted a picture of me and my wife. To do what? To be a racist?
Hold on, Tatum. You can't play that race card, bro. You have said on numerous occasions, racism is no longer a thing. It doesn't exist. So if it's no longer a thing, then D.L. Hughley can't be racist, according to you. Now, D.L. Hughley didn't post a picture of Tatum and his wife to humiliate him. He posted a picture to get a point out. See, Tatum have been out here parading, doing PR work for potential suspects in Nolan Wells' murder, right? Potential suspects. I'm not saying they did it, but they are suspects. So he been out here running PR, disparaging Nolan Wells' mama, calling her a racist, calling her a race hustler, a grifter, when all the mama ever said was, I just want answers. The mama never assigned blame to anybody. The mama never said anybody did it. The mama even says she don't think it's about race, but she can't ignore that component. Tatum called the mama all type of names. So D.L. Hughley is showing people Tatum is doing this because of this context, right? So take whatever he is saying and doing right now in this context as a black man with a white wife. So when he out here, is disparaging a black woman, when he's out here disparaging black folks, when he's out here working counter, right, for Nolan Wells justice, understand why he's doing it or understand who this man is. I think that was fair.
You are the lamest dude in all of comedy.
What is more lame than calling yourself the job you used to have? You're not an officer anymore. You were a football player who failed at being a football player. You didn't make the team, so you became an officer. That wasn't working out, so you became an influencer. You talked about emotion. What is more emotional than this?
The word.
You cried for a white dude who the people didn't even think you worthy to speak at his funeral. You said you wouldn't cry for your son, but you cried for him.
Wow.
That's not emotion. You talked the way Benjamin Crump talks.
Just want to blame white folks. And so I go out there because I know that lame Al Sharpton and Mr. I can't read Benjamin Crump is just race hustling, y'all.
You talked about how those boys are innocent. You had proof. Now, I don't know whether they're innocent or not. I don't know what happened there. But I know one conversation with a failed football player and a social media influencer is not the predicate. You don't have any toxicology report. You don't have an autopsy report. You talked about black people acting a fool. Black people are right to be suspicious of a state that took 31 years and 3 trials to prosecute and find guilty the murder of Medgar Evers. Black people are right to be suspicious of a state that in 2005 found 215 black people that were dead and buried in a pauper's grave and nobody knew they were there. Black people are right to be suspicious of a state that just killed a 1-year-old boy and nobody's being brought to account about. Black people are right to be suspicious of a state that has been poisoning black people with the water since the 1960s. Black people didn't look for this fight. They want justice. All they want is accountability. And if it's those boys, it should be that. Nobody has a predetermined notion. I don't know what happened.
The older I get.
So what? I mean, and that too. What about the guy that just found hanging at the college? That was in Mississippi. That was Mississippi State, I believe.
Is when I realized common sense ain't common no more. Bro, common sense ain't common, bro. See, common sense would tell Officer Tatum why people are annoyed by his coverage. But he somewhat don't seem to understand, which I think even that might be a play. He might be lying about him not understanding why black people are annoyed at his coverage. People are annoyed at Officer Tatum because Tatum started off his coverage not with, I don't know what happened, I'm going to look into it. He started off with, there's no evidence of any foul play, y'all lying. And then he got cooked during the Stephen A. Smith debate. And then he slightly adjusted his stance to, well, I can't rule out foul, in a foul play either. I just don't think these white folks did it. And then as recent as today, his stance then elevated again to where he's saying he don't think Nolan Wells drowned and he think Nolan Wells was murdered. He just don't think he was killed by the friends on the boat. So you started off with there's no evidence of foul play to now there is foul play, but you still pretended like black folks was in the wrong. All we're saying is we don't know who did it, but like everybody is a suspect, and we're not ruling out any suspects until somebody is apprehended and arrested. That's our stance. But Tatum comes out because, bro, he's so obsessed with trying to be, I don't know, like the savior for white folks. He's so obsessed trying like trying to put on that cape, right? He's willing to do whatever it takes to placate to white supremacists, which is why I think the first person they call is Officer Tatum, right? They could have gone to Nancy Grace. They could have gone to TMZ, which have been pretty neutral. TMZ have been neutral. They could have gone to TMZ, no, but they went to Officer Tatum because they understand Officer Tatum will do whatever it takes. He will lie. He will misconstrue the facts. He will leave things out. He will make edits like he did during the interviews with the friends to make sure that whatever can make these kids look guilty would never come out, opposed to going to somebody, right, with an unbiased lens. So they're not trying to contaminate, right, the interview or the evidence with their biased lens. Tatum didn't do that, right? So because Tatum have changed his stance multiple times, because Tatum continues to disrespect the family and Benjamin Crump, even though Tatum is the one who has changed his stance. Benjamin Crump from day one have says, foul play happened here. We don't know who did it, but we'll find our answers. And because of that, Tatum is calling Benjamin Crump a race hustler, while at the same time saying foul play happened, but it's wrong for us to suspect that the white kids did it.
I don't know if it's this video or not, but I'm hoping that it is, man. There's one that pushed shout out again to Poetic Flacco. He put it out, man, and where this Officer Tatum, man, he was just going in on black folks like, you know what I'm saying? Bro, you're a brother too. You know, but he was saying specific ones. It's just so many of us that's retarded. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy the way he talked about his own kind.
What's wrong with suspecting? Everybody is a suspect. But here's the problem. See, Tatum has a problem with us suspecting the white kids did it, but don't have a problem with us saying foul play happened. You know why? Because he wants to change it. He wants to redirect our focus to the 4 black folks that was on an island of 2,000 people. Less than 1/4 of 1% was black. He wants to direct our attention to them because he now wants to pass the blame to black folks. And he exposed his hand during his live stream.
2015 to 2024, about a 10-year period, 3,000 to 3,500 black Mississippians were killed by black offenders. This mother said 3 scenarios, didn't he? He make sure that's right. He gave 3 stories of alleged impropriety. That seemed like a high number, but he gave 3 stories of impropriety spanning over, I don't know, 30, 40 years. Just in 10 years, there's 3,000 to 3,500 black people killed by other black people. You tell me what, like when y'all talk about historical context, when you stupid, all that stuff makes sense to you.
Black murderers kill people they have access to. White murderers kill people they have access to. Asian murderers kill people they have access to. And because races usually live near their own, black people kill black people the highest. White people kill white people the highest. Asians kill Asian the highest. That has nothing to do, Tatum. Nothing like at all to do with why black folks don't trust Mississippi. Mississippi has a history of victimizing black folks and having no accountability come with the victimization, right? Mississippi has a history of racism. Mississippi has a history of hating black folks. So, excuse me, black folks might be a little suspicious at Mississippi officials coming out a day after Nolan Wells died and says there has been no foul play. A decision that to this day, you all of a sudden disagree with after you got cooked during the Stephen A. Smith debate. So if you disagree and you believe that there was foul play in the Nolan Wells situation, then wouldn't that mean that the black folks who have been on this stance from day one was correct the entire time? See, Mississippi coming out, Ocean Springs coming out and saying, yo, Nolan Wells' death was no foul play. Y'all remember, they came out and said, no foul play. Day one. They was ready to sweep this under the rug. It took Benjamin Crump, Al Sharpton, and social media coming together to keep this investigation open. That's what D.L. Hughley is talking about. See, but here's where Tatum makes a mistake, okay? Tatum reveals his hand. Like, all that passive, right? I'm not a racist. I'm just a black conservative who love every man. All that, like, passive stuff goes out the window. Now he reveals his true feelings. Watch how he talks about black folks.
So if you want to play the historical injustice math, it's fair to believe that a black man that's killed could be killed by another black man. How you know the black kids that were out there with Nolan had nothing to do with it? Statistically, historically, it's more likely that he'll be killed by a black person. Ignorant. Y'all Negroes, ignorant.
That's not true. I mean, think about this. Like, usually 9 times out of 10, I'm not gonna say all the time. Some people just crash out. They just crash out. But 9 times out of 10, man, when another black man unalives a black man, it's gonna be behind something. You know what I mean? They're not just gonna just walk into some random nail shop and just unload a weapon. They're not fixing to walk into some white church and just start unloading on these people. But we know who do those things.
I'm tired of being nice to y'all. I hope I don't get in trouble with certain people. But I'm tired of being nice to y'all. I'm sick of y'all low vibration, ignorant Negroes.
That's crazy.
And y'all stupid on every level. And disproportionately, black people come across as stupider than anybody else, disproportionately.
You can't even get offended at somebody like Tatum disrespecting. Come on, bro. Like, it's Tatum, bro. It's Tatum. Nobody takes Tatum seriously, bro. Tatum is a tap dancer. Tatum will say whatever he got to say, okay, to please white folks. But now he's saying his true feelings. The reason why he kept bringing up, well, there was more people on the island, even though that was not important, because, like, wouldn't more people on the island and Nolan disappearing with 2,000, like, wouldn't that actually prove there's foul play? Because who just disappears on an island of 2,000 people with nobody seeing anything? Now that's out the window now. Now that's out the window. Now Tatum is saying, well, why you're not looking at those black kids? Like, the 4 black kids on an island of 2,000 people, why you're not looking at the black kids? This was his plan all along. See, Tatum, all of a sudden, as lately as like this week, began to adopt the stance there was foul play done. And the reason why he was adopting the stance of foul play was because he wanted to co-opt the movement, take over, right? He wanted people who believes there was foul play to come over to his side. And then he was gonna drag them all the way over to the left side of the aisle and eventually begin to propose the fact that it was Nolan Wells' black friends that killed him, not the white boys. I told y'all. Now, Tatum believes that black folks are dumber than any other race. That's what he just said. Black folks are stupider than any other race, according to Officer Tatum. This is a black man saying this. Yo, some of you guys are so hypnotized by white dollars, y'all are ready to sell y'all butt and your morality and your integrity. Bro, how can you sell your soul in this fashion, homie? I know your wife is white, but them kids is black. Yeah. You got black kids, bro. And you are willing to sell your soul. Yo, imagine what your black kids will think of you when they turn on this TV or turn on YouTube in let's say 5 years. They turn on YouTube in 5 years when they again, I don't know how old this kids. Let's just say they turn on YouTube when their kids about 14 years old, right? When they start to get into their consciousness. They turn on YouTube and they see their father calling people who look like him stupid and claiming that those people, all right, are disproportionately dumber or stupider than any other race. Let me explain what he means by disproportionately, okay? He means, for example, if there's 50 million black people we got a higher percent of stupid people than anybody else. So, for example, if there's 60 million black folks, and let's just say 20 million in his world is dumb, 30%. He's saying no other race has 30% of people who are dumb. I'm not even going to go in how I'm supposed to go in, because you know what, bruh? It's not about any other race, all right? But there's almost impeccable metric to to prove we ain't the dumbest now. We ain't the. But okay.
Social media influencer who failed at football and was a mediocre cop all of a sudden knows more than that. I don't know what happened. You don't know what happened. But I do know this. You said that a young woman with a pot of water acted so suspiciously that she should be shot by cops.
I think that this is justified, but it could have been avoided, but still justified. You can't throw boiling water on a police officer and not get shot.
But you don't think people that were on a boat with somebody in proximity to somebody and that person comes that day acting so suspicious they should be questioned?
Hold on. They were questioned, Stu Head. They talked to the police. This is why y'all ain't never gonna make it in life, man. This is why these people ain't never gonna make it, bro. I like the only reason I don't totally think black people are completely a lost cause because I grew up around black people. I got black people in my family whom I love. So I have experience with black people who are not completely retarded. But when you look at these people, and I see why white people are sick of y'all. Because if you ain't never met reasonable black people, and you listen to these fools all day, you gotta think black people has gotta be the dumbest people on planet Earth. You have to be biased looking at the stupidity. You got you think a woman who throwing a hot boiling water on somebody should get shot. That's called deadly force. I don't think she should get shot because she's black.
The lady wasn't even she wasn't even attempting to throw hot water on the police officers. And you know what? They're probably sick of us and thinking that we dumb as F because of people like you. Like, you're willing, just like my man said, you're willing to sell your soul to do whatever they want you to do. Say whatever they want you to say. It's crazy that we have people out here that thinks like this. This is one reason why we as a people cannot get along, because we feel like we're better than one another. And that is sad. It's very sad. And for this brother right here to have a big platform like this and want to talk about his own con, what does that make you look like, sir? You look like a damn fool to these people. You think they're going to have your back? Knowing that you turn on your people, you think the other side is going to have your back? See, I doubt it. It's sad, man. And we really do have people out here in this world that thinks like this Joker.
I think she gets shot because it's according to the law. If you're in fear of serious bodily injury or death, which boiling water can cause, then a cop can shoot you. And the only reason this cop got in trouble because he white.
Oh my God.
And they want to make an example out of this cop. And he was a stewhead by the stuff he said before he ended up having a shooter, which put him in a position where they will argue that he instigated it.
He got in trouble because everybody seen it. Everybody seen that body count. The only thing that lady said was she was rebuking him in the name of Jesus. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. And she picked up the pot. That's why he got in trouble. That was no reason. I mean, and even if she did toss that water that way, he had plenty of room to go left or right, to get out of that water, to get out the way of the water. So you wrong. He got in trouble because he killed that woman. He shot her in the face for no reason.
But she threw boiling water at the cops.
She didn't even throw it, dummy.
Go throw boiling water at cops today and see if you don't get smoked and they let you off.
Cyan Massey never threw the water, by the way. You see what I mean when I say, Tatum just lies? Like he just lies. He's just a liar. She never threw the water, right? Cyan Massey was on the couch talking to the officers because, they came into their home because she called them. She was on the couch talking to them. They look at the stove and see a pot on the stove and says, yo, go ahead and turn that off so, things don't burn. She goes, turn off the stove, take the pot of water, lifts it up, right? And puts it, lifts it up and then put it down, right? Right, on the other stove. She was now trying to move the pot of water to the sink, I believe, right? That's why she called them. She began to rebuke him. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Now, I don't know she obviously seen something. She obviously seen these devils was in her house to murder her. Right? So as she's saying, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus, she lifts up the pot to put it in the sink and they shoot and kill her while calling her the B word. No water touched them at all. At all. Now, the officer got 20 years. Tatum said the officer did nothing wrong. But now y'all see how Tatum feel about us, and now y'all see his real intentions in covering this Nolan Wells case. It was always to deflect the blame to those innocent black. Well, I'll be real, right? I'll be real, all right? Tristan is half black. We got to watch Tristan. Tristan, he's a nefarious character to me. Tristan is the black friend that Tatum interviewed, where he started talking about how his white side have always done more for him than the black side, how Benjamin Crump is a race hustler, just all type of nonsense, bro. So maybe you got to look at Tristan. I don't know, okay? But, man, them black kids is less than a fourth of a 1% of the people on that island, bro. Leave them out of this. Let me know in the comment section what y'all think about this, okay? If you're still watching this video and you want to watch another...
It's sad, man, that, like I said, that we have people that thinks like this man. But he had an interview with Nancy Grace, and she went in on him. She cooked him. Oh, yeah, she cooked him. Let me see if I can find that. She cooked him. She really made him look stupid. Really. I mean, really, really made him look stupid. And he deserved it. He deserved every bit of it. Let me see if I can find it. He deserved every bit of it. Let's see, I'm trying to find the whole thing.
Bombshell tonight. In the last 24 hours, Nolan Wells' family hits social media giants, subpoenaing Nolan's accounts. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. I want to thank you for being with us.
He was face down on the beach right at the water's edge.
If he was sent face down, that also doesn't make sense to me. If he's face down, wouldn't blood pool just by nature of gravity this way?
So right now, we've got a lot of questions, but as the second doctor says, this is all still pending investigation.
If this were your child, wouldn't you want to know what happened?
The mom asked for Nolan's phone. Right. Was there a struggle over it, or did you guys hand it over?
I mean, just handed it over. I mean, we didn't think anything of it. Like, she asked for Nolan's phone. We knew they were close friends with, the Wells family, and my buddy went out to his truck and handed the phone over. No complications, no issue, nothing. But I mean, I told Miss Christine that we had his phone and he had left it in our possession on the boat.
When did you talk to her about that?
When I was on, no, I didn't talk to her once. Like it was like 12:30. I mean, I might have texted her a couple times and like, talked briefly about a couple things, but I told her on the phone before I called the Coast Guard that we had Nolan's phone. Before I called Miss Christine, none of us had a reason to go through Nolan's phone. I mean, there's multiple phones on the boat. Why would it be? And the boat was having issues. Why would our concern be getting on Nolan's phone or something? I mean, I don't even know Nolan's password. None of my friends do. We had no reason ever to get on Nolan's phone and look at anything. I didn't even touch Nolan's phone. None of us touched Nolan's phone until somebody took it off the boat and put it in White's truck, and then no one touched it until we handed it back, to the mom that was at my buddy's house.
That is from the Officer Tatum show. He has interviewed several of the young men that were on the boat when Nolan Wells was taken to Horn Island. They say he was not on the boat on the return trip, although audio seems to suggest otherwise. Listen to the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources call.
Detail assistance, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can you all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles? Hello?
Hey.
Yes. How far is the water coming up, sir?
It's coming up. We're just sinking. I don't know. Like we're going down now.
All right. Well, let's get you going. Membership number or phone number listed on the account, sir.
I don't know the phone number. It's either. I think it's. Try that.
All right.
I know we have a membership, like guaranteed. I don't have the tag
unless
on
you
here.
have a
It got ripped
membership
off.
number or anything, it's okay. I'll get you over to the captain. What's the best phone number to reach you at?
Reach me at 2.
Particular phrases in that call, if it's to be believed, Nolan, don't die. Sure, he's dead. Is he dead? Nolan, OMG. Wake the F up. It goes on. I thought he was on the check his chest. That, if it's to be believed, suggests that Nolan was on that boat. Tatum says the witnesses are clear. He was not on the boat. Tonight, we learned in the last 24 hours, the Nolan Wells family hits social media giants with subpoenas for all information related to Nolan's phone. First, straight out to Dave Mack, Crime Stories investigative reporter. Then we will be joined by Brandon Tatum. Dave Mack, what's happening?
Right now, Nancy, the family of Nolan Wells has announced that they are going after, they have subpoenaed documents for Nolan Wells' phone. They've gone to the media giants like, TikTok, Instagram, the meta companies, everybody that Nolan Wells used to push out videos of what he was doing and pictures. And they're they believe that some material was deleted from Nolan's phone. And this is what they're trying to prove with these subpoenas, to get all of the information, as well as, by the way, the location tracking app, Life 360. So you got Snapchat, WhatsApp, TikTok, Meta platforms, and Life 360. I'm
going to be honest with you. I'm just going to be my opinion. Excuse me. I believe that they're not going to find anything incriminating or on that phone. I just don't believe that. I believe that he did put his phone on the boat like the rest of them, and it wasn't touched. But whatever happened, he couldn't get to his phone. They said they left him, but it's weird that you would take off. But being a kid and they're sinking or whatever they got going on, they're not even thinking to hand him his phone. Maybe, they're drinking. They forgot that the phone was on there if they left him there. but I just don't feel like there's nothing on there incriminating. I don't think that he was taking pictures or anything. I believe that he probably felt like he didn't have service or he wasn't going to have service. He didn't want to drop his phone in the sand in the water, so he just left it on the boat. So I don't think, I mean, that's good that they are subpoenaing all these big companies. I just don't think they're going to find anything on that phone.
Of this, the court documents already filed, Nancy.
Nolan Wells's family slapped subpoenas on multiple social media giants seeking his account information and data. This into the investigation of the teen college football player's mysterious death. They were issued in the last 24 hours, including Snapchat, WhatsApp, TikTok, Meta platforms, Life 360, and these are according to court documents demanding the companies turn over all materials info related to Nolan's accounts. This includes current and prior usernames, passwords, email addresses, phone numbers, even displayed names. They want IP addresses associated with every account, all communications, chats, posts, stories, and info. His cell phone has become a critical issue in the probe into Nolan's death. What happened to Nolan? Now, his mother, Christine, says when her son's phone was brought to the family, they had concerns because there were no pictures or videos on either of his Snapchat accounts. Triggering their fear, items may have been deleted. That's what's happening. There's been a lot of controversy. Were photos, were texts deleted? Were snaps deleted? We've been trying to figure it out, but we're seeing through a mirror darkly. We don't know. But according to experts, a trail will be left if anything has been deleted, even if you delete it from the deleted file. Now, joining us, special guest, Brandon Tatum. You know him well. He's a former police.
Before we get into that, I want to say, everybody's been posting these pictures saying that this girl, Katie, was in this picture with Bart or whatever his name was. And come to find out, that is not her. So whoever this girl is that's in that picture, that's not Katie. So who is Katie? Where is she? Why hasn't she came out? And then if he was on the island, I know I heard somebody make a statement like this, but he was on the island. He didn't have his phone, and he was talking to some girl. And he would say, I don't have my phone with me. We can't exchange numbers. But I tell you what, since you got your phone, send me a text. So when I get back to my phone, I can save your number. All right. So if that happened and the mom gets the phone and the text message isn't in there, yeah, somebody was tampering with it. So I guess we'll know here pretty soon. So let's listen to this clown. She gonna cook him though. I like it. I mean, I don't too much rock with Miss Grace, Miss Nancy Grace. She look mean as hell though. She look real mean. But I don't rock with her. But she cooked his ass last night.
Officer with Tucson PD. That's what impresses me. What impresses a lot of other people is he is the star of The Officer Tatum. Officer Tatum, thank you for being with us tonight. Question to you. You interviewed, as we played at the get-go, several of Nolan's friends. Did they show you photos, videos, snaps of that day on Horn Island?
Well, Nancy, thank you so much for having me on. I spoke to 4 of the boys that are originally accused of being involved in Nolan Wells' death. And they did show me a lot of evidence. I want people to be very clear with this. I spent my career putting people in jail. My career is based on getting justice for people who have been done wrong. I've never been a defense attorney. So me going out and doing this was to find out what happened to Nolan Wells. And in talking to these young men,
the burden of proof is they're going to have to prove to me. I'm not going to listen to what they say out of their mouth. They're going to have to show me. And in many cases, they showed me videos of Nolan on the island. They showed me videos of the boat when they were getting towed out, which is consistent with, kind of similar to what the phone call was. I mean, they showed me pictures of them with Nolan. They showed me phone records of them calling Nolan's mom and all of the above. So they seemed very consistent. They seemed very genuine. And they also proved to me some of the things that they had told me in the interview that I had with them that I have uploaded on my YouTube channel.
Officer Tatum, are you telling me that they had reception on Horn Island? Because many people are saying, well, the reason that there's nothing on Nolan's phone of that day, like there's no pictures, there's no snaps, there's no text, there's no anything, not because it was deleted, but because he didn't have reception. But you're telling me the other boys did have snaps, photos, videos, and reception?
Yeah, no, Nancy, let me clarify this for you. It wasn't that they uploaded this online. They showed me videos and things that they took from the boat during the outing on 4th of July. I was personally out at Horn Island. I rode out there on a boat, and I didn't have great reception there. And I left my phone in the boat when I got into the water and we were actually going out to do interviews.
Objection. You've been in court long enough to know you're going to get objections. You said you didn't have great reception, but you did have reception, did you not?
No, there was reception there. It just wasn't great, and it wasn't great enough for people, in my opinion, to upload. You can make a phone call potentially, but you wasn't going to upload data to a social media account. Now, could people take the steps to do it if they're dedicated enough? Yes, but it doesn't appear that would have been a frequent thing, given the fact that you probably had 1 or 2 bars out there. And I heard evidence of that. Not only did I see evidence of it when I went out there myself personally with my cell phone, when I listened to the CETO call, you could tell that the call dropped out several times. It seemed like they were having trouble at times hearing each other. So it is consistent. And anybody that travel out there that have gone to the 4th of July celebration, they know that the reception is not very great. So the videos that they showed me in call logs were things that were not associated to social media, that they never posted on social media. It was, pictures and videos that they took on their phone.
Okay. Let me refine my question. I take it from your last answer that the answer is yes, you had reception on Horn Island.
Yes, I did have reception on Horn Island.
We just played that CETO call. It's 2 words, SEATOW, and it's kind of insurance that people have that are boat goers. And if you have a problem, CETO will come and tow you back to the mainland. They said they had a problem. They said they were taking on water. One of your takes is that all the chatter that we're hearing, wake up, Nolan, are you dead, Nolan, wake the F up, Nolan, could be referring to the battery, the bilge on the boat, that it's all unclear. Regarding the boat being disabled, apparently it was not. Listen.
So first, at 9:56 a.m., the boat leaves the original dock. It arrives at Horn Island at 11:14. So at around 4 o'clock, there is a call to the Coast Guard about the boat. NBC News got a hold of it.
We're sinking. Can y'all please come?
And is everybody on board in good health otherwise?
Yeah, everybody's on board.
Everybody's on board. So does that mean Nolan is on there? Who was on that boat? At 4:31, the boat leaves Horn Island and it is towed approximately 3 miles, and then the tow ends. So after 3 miles, they go back to the original dock, okay? They arrive at 5:44 p.m. So it looks like this is where Horn Island is, and this is where the original dock is that I am referring to. I looked it up, and El Camino Real Road is in Gulf Hills, Mississippi, which is right above Ocean Springs. So I'm wondering if this is the house where they got the phone. Now, the boat travels to Fort Bayou. At 6:06, the boat returns to the original dock. Then, from the original dock, the boat goes back to Fort Bayou, and then they go to the boat launch, and it is put onto the trailer and moved by the vehicle. Did they drop people off at the original dock, travel to Fort Bayou, pick somebody up, and go back to that original dock? And then from there, why was there an hour and 13-minute time gap? This boat was sinking hours before, and then they're just having it docked for an hour and 13 minutes. You would think they'd want to get that boat out of the water ASAP.
That from the Real TikTok Detective. The boat wasn't sinking. They told Cito it was sinking. What's the truth? Was it sinking and they repaired it? Did they have a leak and they repaired it and kept on SOP? Brandon Tatum joining us, former cop, now star of The Officer Tatum. Did the young man explain those travels?
So I'm just thinking, like, the boat is taking on water. Okay, he's going to explain what they did and how they got that water out. But anyways, the boat is taking on water. They're panicking. So just think, if someone or some bodies did something to this young man and he's on that boat unconscious, or as they said, dead, do you think that boy would be calling somebody for rescue? I mean, if you did something, you wouldn't want to call nobody for rescue. You would be trying to do something else or trying to fix it yourself. But this is my thing, like, if they got somebody on the boat that's out of it, why would they be calling somebody to come rescue them? Because that the rescue people can come out and they can see that somebody's not breathing on this boat. They can call the police, National Guard, whatever, Well, I was helping these kids, but I seen something that just didn't look right. You know what I mean? So I don't think they would be trying to call for help if they had somebody, if Nolan was on that boat not breathing. I don't think they would be calling nobody if that was the case.
Be just identified.
Yeah, 100. Boats function and how they work. They explained to me, they took me on a boat and showed me exactly where they went, where they docked, where did they, stop at, how did they get the bilge pump and the water out of the boat and all of the above. So they were sinking. They were taking on water. The water came up high enough that the batteries weren't working. They had to get a tow to kind of tow them out, where you could see the young lady saying about 3 miles out. It's a complicated boat jargon, but they ended up getting the boat out. They ended up getting it to the point where they could run the water out of the boat through a hole in the boat that they ended up plugging. They explained all this. Anybody that does boating know exactly what they're talking about if you hear them explain it on the interview. So they have an explanation for all of these things. And not only that, Nancy, they showed me video of them on the boat, and Nolan was not on the boat. Nolan was not on the boat log. And there are people who saw Nolan on the island closer to around 6 p.m., which is far after they left, far after this phone call was made. I saw text messages from the young lady that Nolan was with, the young lady named Katie. I saw her text messages. In her text messages, she say that she heard the boys yelling for Nolan to get on the boat. He did not. She said in her text message that she did not see Nolan get on the boat he came on, which was Wyatt's boat, which is the boat that was sinking and they ended up leaving on. So it wasn't just a statement that they made on a podcast. They were actually showing me evidence to the contrary of what the mainstream YouTubers and some media outlets are putting out to people at large. And so I wish that people would go watch the interview or at least take some time to listen to these boys' statement. And I'll say this, Nancy, too. I wish that the family would have taken the time, or at least Benjamin Crump would have taken the time to reach out to the lawyers or reach out to these young boys to get their statements so they're not wasting their time sending everybody on a rabbit trail when they could have just talked to these boys. And they could have, but they refused, because I saw a message from Warren where he called Nolan's mom twice. I've seen messages from Warren's stepmother, Ashley, where she sent Nolan's mom a text saying, please reach out to me whenever you're ready. I would like to talk. Other parents I saw messages from who reached out to Nolan's mom saying, we need to talk. Can we talk? I'm available if you need to talk to us. I do not understand at this point why Benjamin Crump would go out and put misinformation out online when he had the availability to talk to these kids and clear these things up like I did before he presented this to the public. We also reached out to Benjamin Crump 4 times. And on the 5th time, they come back and tell us that the family is not doing interviews. We didn't ask to talk to the family. We asked to talk to the attorney, Benjamin Crump. Why? So we can come together as a community and solve what happened to Nolan Wells, not create and stoke division, which is what I've seen
Mr.
from
Tatum,
Benjamin
that
Crump.
is exactly what we're trying to do. And I hear everything you're saying. And, you know, I think like a prosecutor, my main goal is to find the truth of what happened to Nolan Wells. And one thing I cannot get away from is the medical examiner. I'm trying to get to tonight's news, which I'm going to get to, but, oh, you were seeing a video from WLOX. Speaking of sinking, is at an alleged issue with the boat bilge. Well, Randy and Bunny on TikTok have their interpretation of that. Watch this.
Detail assistance, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles? Hello?
Hey.
Yes, how far is the water coming up, sir?
It's coming up. We're just sinking. I don't know. Like we're going down now.
That from Randy and Bunny on TikTok. Joe Scott Morgan, very quickly before I can get into why the family believes they need subpoenas to social media giants to get the truth about what happened to Nolan's phone. Anybody can say anything after the fact. Those boys may be innocent. They can look like choir boys, angels now, but I still don't know what happened on that boat. And I still see conflicts. Can they be reconciled? I hope so. But until they are, we're on it. This is what I can't get away from. Control room, please show Joseph Scott Morgan the autopsy diagram of the victim's occipital bone. Okay, I don't care what anybody says. I do not care if an archangel lands on this anchor desk. If he lies to me, I'm using handcuffs for his wrists and a rope for his wings. You hear me? Look at that again. Put it back up. He has deep reddening subcutaneously on the back of his head. Nowhere else. It's not on his neck. The back of his neck anyway. Don't see it on the back. Don't see it anywhere else on the body. So I really don't want to hear a lame explanation that it's lividity of the blood sinking to the back of the body. Number one, the body was on its face. But that said, they kept the neck and the lungs to see if he drowned, neck. Why would they keep his neck? I can't get away from this, Joe Scott Morgan, and I don't care how angelic the friends appear, and they may be angels. I don't know that yet. You can't get away from this, Morgan.
No, you can't, and we can't get away from it until the investigation is concluded on the part of the state medical examiner's office and the authorities. And in Mississippi, and I can promise you this, as the day is long, they're not going to release this information because it's an ongoing investigation. I know everybody wants it. Now, what we do have is a second view. We've got a second set of eyes on this from a highly accomplished forensic pathologist, I might add, former chief medical examiner for DC. And he went over Nolan's body very, very thoroughly. And he in his statements relative to this area states that he cannot make heads or tails of it at this point in time because it's compromised, this area I'm referring to in the occipital area of the head, because it has been compromised through decomposition. Now, he did a multi-layered dissection. And what that means is layer by layer, the skin, sub-Q fat, down through the muscle, which had not previously been done in this manner, according to him. I don't even know if it's annotated in the state medical examiner's report because it hasn't been released yet. They're still waiting. It's pending multiple things. How many times have we heard this over the years? They're doing their own histological studies, which means the tissue samples. And also the big part to this, Nancy, is going to be the toxicology. And we know that takes some time. And it's not just going to be about alcohol. It's going to be everything in the spectrum.
Hi, guys. Nancy Grace here. If you are a homeowner, you've probably thought, should I call American Financing to refinance and pay Officer Tatum, star of The Officer Tatum on YouTube, have the friends taken polygraphs?
Well, from my understanding, all but I believe one took a polygraph, and from what was told to me, that they all passed. And all of the ones that took a polygraph took one without a lawyer. And they cooperated with law enforcement. So from my understanding, everybody took a polygraph test. Why do you say that's from what you
understand? Did they tell you they took a poly and passed?
Yes, ma'am. They told me that they did it. I wasn't there. So that's what I'm saying from my understanding. They told me that all the boys except one, which is Warren, I believe, took a polygraph test. All of them did not have lawyers and did it and cooperated with police. Warren also cooperated with police. I just believe he didn't take a lot to take the test, but Warren is the young man that I interviewed. So according to what they told me, they all took a lot to take test and passed. And it's an equivalent of a lot to take the test. It's not a traditional lot to take test, but it's the same theology of trying to get to if a person is lying. I don't know the name of it. It's an equivalent of a lot to take the test. It's a different methodology. I don't believe it was a polygraph test. I believe they took other stressors in order to analyze if the people were telling the truth or not. So then the answer to
did they take a polygraph would be no.
Well, yeah, I think it could be semantics because they took a test to analyze whether or not they were being truthful in their statements, and that certified test, they passed it. It just wasn't considered a traditional polygraph. I think it's a more advanced way of doing it.
Brandon Tatum. Hold on. In a nutshell, Joe Scott, there is a difference between a polygraph, which measures all sorts of body signals, your sweat, your breathing, your heart, your blood pressure, all sorts of things, and an audio verification test. Big difference.
Yeah. So the audio is, you're looking for stressors in the voice. And these people are highly trained to do this. And you know how the courts feel about these tests. Are they admissible or not? But I think that going to Brandon's point, the fact that they have taken these, at least those named allegedly have taken these according to him, I think that that's significant. Now, whether or not that this is going to be usable, a usable investigative tool is hard to measure.
I didn't ask you if it's going to be used in court. That's a whole nother animal. We'll burn that bridge when we get there. Okay. There may never even be a court case. First, I got to find out what happened to Nolan. Okay. So let's not put the cart before the horse. You've got eye detections tests. I don't put any stock in that as to whether somebody's lying. You've got nonverbal communication experts claiming they can tell. You've got brainwave analysis. You've got all sorts of things. I want a poly.
Right.
I'm not saying they did anything or they didn't do anything. Go, strap up, take me a poly. Officer Tatum, star of The Officer Tatum on YouTube. I've been told, but I can't verify, that the boat in question has been searched by scent dogs and cadaver dogs. Is that true?
I'm not familiar if that's true. Let me just clarify. The test that they took was a voice stress analysis test instead of what we call a traditional polygraph test. But I'm not familiar with the cadaver dog searching the boat. I wasn't informed that that was the case. But I was told by the boys that they did not wash the boat off or do any of those things that they were accused of doing, after this incident.
Right.
And I say, based on all the things that I've heard, it appears that they've been very truthful with me. And
All right. Well, I don't know. My seems like my live is kind of buffering a little bit, so I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna end it. But you got some things to look at. Like he said that Nolan was seen at 6 p.m. on Horn Island by some folks. Now I had seen one of Willie D's little videos, and it shows. Well, it's just some audio that was sent to him, but it shows that it panned out the whole island, and you can hear somebody saying "f you," "f an N word," teach you not to something. I guess teach you not to f with me, and that's why I effed your girl. So if they did leave him, of course, being kids, they wasn't thinking to get the boy's phone. They kids, they trying to get back. But if it leads me to believe, if they didn't do it, then maybe it was somebody else on that island. Maybe it happened after they left. But then it takes me back to the phone call. Why are they hollering? Is he dead? Nolan, oh my God. So I mean, all that stuff is coming to light. Why would they be hollering that if it happened after they left? So it's just some things to just kind of think about. We really don't know what happened, and that's the whole point of everybody's trying to find out what happened, who did it. First they were saying it was an accidental drowning. Even this clown right here was saying it was an accident. Now he came out, I think a couple of days ago, and he said it was some foul play. But then he turned around and said Nolan was drunk and coked up. So, I don't know what to believe. I really don't believe anything that come from this guy's mouth. Like even in interviews, he was coaching them kids. He was like talking them through it he was telling them what to say without saying it. You know what I mean? And that Nancy Grace thing, she did cook them. Y'all need to go back and watch. If y'all haven't seen it, go back and watch the rest of it. I'm just gonna jump out, but I do have to say, like when she was talking about the that lie detector, she first came on. She said, "Have they?" She asked him, "Did they take a lie detector test?" He was like, "Yeah, they did. I was told to me that they took one. They took one." So then she went to changing it. She didn't ask what kind of test it was. When she first asked him, she said she would just, they take a lie test. He said yes. And then she goes about what kind of test it was. He said it was some kind of sort of test, but it wasn't polygraph. Well, now I need a polygraph. You know what I'm saying? You give me a polygraph. That's what I need. So why didn't she say that when she first asked him? Because when she asked him the first time, she just said lie detector test. I don't know. It's just crazy. I mean, it's crazy. It's sad, man. I have to rest in peace to them boys, man. I hate it for their families. That Daniel Irvin, that Tyler Smith. I didn't even know nothing about these deaths. I did not know anything about it until today. But I mean, I hate it for just something happened. Your family, you got a feeling something happened, and the people that's supposed to investigate it and find out the truth, they don't want to do it. They're just gonna go out for what was being told to them by some kids, and that's crazy. But if it was a different race, it'd be a totally different story. And we all knew this. There's no point in even then just trying to get mad at people saying these things. We know this. We've seen it before too many times. So there is no reason for anybody to get mad or start feeling a certain type of way when we do say that, because it's didn't happen. We've seen it time and time again. I hate it, man. I really do. And I really hope that those boys, I just really hope that they are genuine. I hope that they're telling the truth. I really do. And it was a girl on there. You could hear her voice, and if something did happen to him on that boat, and she was there, oh my God, she's a tough one, because usually women can't see that without breaking down. A woman is gonna break down a lot faster than a man. They ain't gonna be able to take seeing that, and they're gonna, either tell somebody. It's gonna be something. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm gonna try to fix my computer. I don't know why my live is buffering, and I'm sorry I didn't go on camera today. I'm a little under the weather, like I said, but I'm gonna try to fix my computer. If anything else comes up, then I will go back live. I just really wasn't trying to put my input into this Nolan Wells case, but I mean, it's just things aren't. It just doesn't seem right. And then what really made me want to do it was the family. They're getting death threats. They are. The lady said that she was getting bad reviews at her job. I think, what is she, a nurse practitioner? People, they don't think about that. Like, there could be somebody out there that can help her, that knows everything, that can just end this situation, and they won't do it. But you know what? If it came down to their health, something like that, where they're in need of some kind of, they're having a health issue or something like that, that lady is gonna jump into action. She's a nurse practitioner, but nobody won't do this for her. She may be the one that saved your life, one of your family members' lives. So, I mean, it's just something to think about. If anybody knows what happened, I hate that they're having these death threats. And I really I hate that this man here is saying what he's saying about his own race. So, I mean, you sit there and call some black people dumb. We're ignorant. But with you talking like that, it really makes you the ignorant one. It really does. You put on this song and dance, thinking that these people are gonna accept you. They're not gonna accept you. You're gonna always be what you are to them. So I don't know what you're doing it for. I really don't. Your children are black, and they may catch it. Like my man said, they could get on this social media one day and see that you said that, and maybe resent you, or you know what? They could be, once they get into high school and other people see that you said that, and it could cause problems for them. I don't know, man. But rest in peace to them boys, man. Love and condolences to them families. And I'm gonna try to fix my computer, and I'll get back on here either later on or tomorrow. But you guys stay safe out there, and if anybody knows anything about this case, man, please come forward. Help this family, please. Catch y'all on the next one. I'm out.